Welcome to Empower Minds channel. If you're looking for inspiration and strength to face challenges, you are in the right place. There is a saying that goes, success requires patience. In this video, we will get to know great people and take you on a journey of those who succeeded after facing many failures and frustrations. Get ready to learn inspiring stories and lessons that will change your view of failure and give you the strength to face difficulties. And don't forget, success requires patience. Thomas Alva Edison was born on February 11, 1847 in Milan, Ohio, United States. He was the youngest of 7 siblings and suffered from hearing impairment since childhood. His challenges began in his childhood when he was expelled from school after teachers described him as unteachable. However, his mother believed in his potential and ability to learn and decided to teach him herself at home. Edison had a great passion for experimentation and exploration, beginning with simple scientific experiments in the basement of his home. At the age of 12, he worked as a newspaper vendor on a train to Detroit, where he had more opportunities to learn by reading newspapers and scientific books. Edison's hearing loss increased over time until he became almost deaf at an early age. Though his hearing loss was a major challenge, he considered it an advantage that helped him focus on his work. He believed that deafness kept him away from distractions, allowing him to focus better on his experiments and inventions. One of his first inventions was the automatic telegraph, a device that converted signals into printed text, which allowed him to sell his invention for a sum of money that helped finance his later experiments. He decided to move to New York to find more opportunities in the field of communications, and there he began working for a telegraph company. This gave him the chance to learn about the field and invent more advanced devices, eventually developing the quadruple telegraph, which allowed 4 messages to be sent over a single telegraph line at the same time. Founding of Menlo Park Laboratory, the first industrial research laboratory. In 1876, Edison founded his famous laboratory in Menlo Park, New Jersey, which was one of the first industrial research laboratories in the world. Edison worked with a team of inventors to develop new inventions. The Menlo Park Laboratory became a beacon of innovation, and Edison called it the Idea Factory, where he was able to accomplish many important inventions. In the late 1870s, Edison began working on inventing the electric light bulb. He faced enormous challenges in developing the electric light bulb, as he had to find a thin filament or glowing material that could last a long time without burning out. Edison conducted more than 1,000 experiments, but he failed every time. Despite the repeated failures, he did not give up and continued trying. In 1879, after many experiments, Edison was finally able to invent a practical electric light bulb using a carbon filament as a glowing material, as the lamp lit for several hours continuously. This invention was a turning point in Edison's career and changed the course of civilization, as it opened the door to the use of electricity in daily life. Lessons learned. When you face a difficulty, think of it as a reason for your success. Remember that every failure is an opportunity to learn and get closer to achieving your goals. Rowling, author of the Harry Potter series. Joanne Rowling, known as J.K. Rowling, was born on July 31, 1965, in a small town near Bristol, England. Since childhood, she was fond of books and stories, and she used to write fictional stories, draw their characters, and share them with her family. This passion for writing accompanied her throughout her life, but the road to success was not easy at all. After completing her university education, Rowling faced several personal difficulties. Her mother died after a long struggle with illness, which left a great impact on her. During that period, she moved to Portugal to work as an English teacher, where she married and gave birth to her daughter, but her marriage did not last long, as it ended in divorce. She returned to the United Kingdom as a single mother without a fixed income. Rowling returned to England to find herself drowning in poverty, living on government benefits, and struggling to provide a decent life for her daughter. She was suffering from depression and going through one of the darkest periods of her life, and she even contemplated suicide. But she decided to draw strength from her old passion for writing, specifically from an idea that had been on her mind for years. One day, while she was traveling by train between Manchester and London, the idea of Harry Potter flashed in her mind, the boy wizard who lives adventures in the world of magic. This idea continued to develop in her imagination until she decided to start writing the novel. Rowling wrote the first chapters of the novel in cafes because she was unable to pay the costs of heating her apartment, and she began to write drafts of the novel with a trembling hand, but with great determination. After finishing her first novel, Rowling began looking for a publishing house that would agree to publish her book. The novel was rejected by 12 publishers, most of whom thought that a magical story for children would not be a big success. But Rowling did not give up, and finally a small publishing house called Bloomsbury agreed to print the novel, and the decision was up to the daughter of the publishing manager, who read a few pages and liked the story. Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone was published in 1997 and achieved great success immediately after its release. It became the first novel in a series of 7 books about Harry Potter and the wizarding world, and it became a global phenomenon, selling hundreds of millions of copies and being translated into more than 70 languages. Harry Potter was not just a novel, but it became a part of the lives of millions around the world. And J.K. Rowling became a symbol of success and determination. The novel was also turned into a successful series of films that made billions of dollars, making Rowling one of the richest and most influential writers in the world. She also continued to write, providing charitable work and supporting human rights issues. J.K. Rowling's life story teaches us that determination and hard work are the secret to achieving dreams, no matter the challenges. Although she went through difficult times that almost broke her, her passion and will pushed her to achieve success she did not expect. Today, Rowling has become an inspiration to many, and a reminder that failure is not the end, but the beginning of the road to success. Lessons learned. Don't let doubts and circumstances define your destiny. Continuing to follow your passion can lead you to achieve what you thought was impossible. Erik Weihenmayer was born on September 23, 1968 in Princeton, New Jersey, USA. He was an active and energetic child, but at the age of 3 he was diagnosed with a rare condition called retinitis pigmentosa, a progressive disease that permanently deteriorates his vision. By the age of 13, Erik had completely lost his sight, becoming blind early in life. After losing his sight, Erik found himself in a world of darkness, learning to cope with his new visual impairment. His childhood was filled with both emotional and physical challenges as he had to adjust to life as a blind person in a world where people rely heavily on their sight. But he showed a strong determination not to give up and began learning how to use a cane, read in Braille, and use his other senses to live as normal a life as possible. Despite his disability, Erik loved physical activity and adventure and was passionate about sports from a young age. Erik learned to ride a mountain bike, rock climb, snowboard, and even scuba dive. He realized that his biggest challenge wasn't losing his sight, but overcoming fear and feeling helpless. Erik wanted to prove to himself and the world that blindness wouldn't stop him from achieving his dreams. Then his mountaineering journey began when he participated in a blind climbing camp. Despite the difficulties he faced, he found a true passion and a new purpose in this sport. He climbed with the help of his colleagues, who guided him using their voices, and he relied on touching the rocks to feel his way up. He decided to challenge himself and keep climbing, knowing that blindness wouldn't stop him from reaching the peaks. The greatest challenge. In 2001, Erik decided to take on a challenge that no blind person had ever done before, climbing Mount Everest, the highest peak in the world, which rises about 8,848 meters above sea level. This decision was full of challenges and risks, as he had to deal with harsh weather conditions, low oxygen levels, and difficult terrain. Despite the criticism and fears, Erik insisted on moving forward. He started his journey with a team of climbers, relying on their help and support to face the dangers on the way. During this arduous journey, he used a walking stick, followed the instructions and voiced directions of his colleagues, relying on his other senses, and bravely pushed towards the summit. On May 25, 2001, Erik achieved his dream and reached the summit of Everest, becoming the first blind person to climb the highest peak in the world. This moment was a turning point in his life. The news spread quickly, and Erik became a global symbol of determination and willpower, inspiring millions around the world with his story, proving that a person is capable of achieving the impossible if he has the courage and will. Erik was not satisfied with this achievement, but decided to continue his mountaineering career. He set himself a new challenge, climbing the 7 summits, the highest peaks on each continent of the world. Indeed, he was able to climb all of these peaks, becoming one of the few who achieved this exceptional achievement. Humanitarian and motivational work. In addition to being an exceptional climber, Erik worked to share his experience and expertise with others. He founded the Touch the Top Foundation, which aims to empower people with disabilities and encourage them to achieve their dreams and push their limits. He has given many motivational lectures around the world and published his book Touch the Top of the World, which tells his story, struggle, and overcoming challenges. Erik Weihenmayer's story shows that real disability is not in the body but in the mind and will. Despite his blindness, he did not allow the world to limit his dreams, but rather challenged himself, set big goals, and worked to achieve them. Erik's story reminds us that a person is capable of turning the impossible into reality if he has the courage and desire to change. From these stories, we realize that failure may be the first step to success. Failure can be a lesson, and when we are patient and persistent, we can overcome any difficulty. With work and patience, we will find the way to success. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell to support the channel and to follow more inspiring stories.